So this is how it starts. কিন্তু my shots are doing well. My shots are actually doing well. ঠিক আছে। উইকেন্ডে বসি এটা নিয়ে একটু সময় নিয়ে। কালকে আবার অফিস। কাল বৃহস্পতিবার, না কাল বুধবার, সরি। আমার সিগারেট শেষ হয়নি। এবার আগের বার অডিও, হ্যাঁ বলো। 10:30, 10:30, 10:30। তোমার হ্যাপি টু স্মাইল তো? হিয়ার টু স্মাইল, ঠিক আছে। মানে হাউ ডু ইউ ওয়ান্ট মি টু প্রমোট দ্যাট? ঠিক আছে, লিভ ইট আপ টু মি। আর 30 সেকেন্ডে যাব। টেক্স টাইম। অনেক ক্রিয়েটিভ কন্টেন্ট। আচ্ছা যাচ্ছি, হ্যাঁ লাইভ। বসে নি, টান, চলো। Hello
Oh,
everyone, good evening and welcome back to Netflix Football HD. Tonight we saw the GOAT the action on the other night. Him breaking that milestone is actually a poetic justice to the stature that he has, and Leo Messi playing the World Cup with freedom, with poise, and with all the smile in his face. So Casemiro recently said that angered Messi is always dangerous, but Leo Messi. But I do feel that a Leo Messi with a smile is equally and if not more dangerous, and we are seeing that live. And tonight to discuss the other goat, Cristiano Ronaldo. His team are in a bit of a turmoil. All social media antics are throwing mud at him and his teammates. The factions of the fan base are divided. And with me tonight, we were talking about Smile. So I have the channel owner of Here to Smile with me, Akash, my mate, who has just gone back to Kolkata. Else he would have been right here beside me, but he's up there beside me today. Akash, Portugal against Uzbekistan. It feels weird saying do or die with Uzbekistan, but how great importance is the match tonight?
I mean, it's very important considering the level of impact this is going to have on the group stage, right? And I was just talking to my father like a few minutes back. I was just letting him know that there is one player in the entire Uzbekistan team who plays for Manchester City, right? Apart
Kusanov.
from that, yes. Apart from that, I just named five players. I just told him these are five important players for Uzbekistan: Kusanov, Nodirbek Yakuboev, Nodirbek Abdusatorov, and Javokir Sendarov. Three out of those four are chess players. Only one is a football player. And a team like that facing off against Portugal, and Portugal considering this as a do or die just talks volumes about where the team is right now. it's disjointed. There is no chemistry there. The players are not playing for the team's talisman, who refuses to back down from his position as a talisman. And
Akash, just a second. I think there is some technical glitch. Give me a moment. Viewers, I'm sorry. Okay, I understand why the technical glitch is there. Yep, you're back. Yeah, go on. Sorry. Talisman.
I wish Ronaldo was back too. I really wish him back in this World Cup to bring some spice, some masala into this, into all the drama that is already going on.
And I'll give you the lineups in just a second. So on the back of my head, I just saw Joao Felix starting tonight, and that is imperative because we saw Pedro Neto, and I was with I was with Prashant Bhav the other night, and I was also discussing in my pre-match tactics video that how much of an inverted winger or someone who can occupy that half space, right? Because Nuno Mendes, one of the best left backs in, if not the best left back in the world, we see him restricted. The last match he was very hot and cold and extremely, like, मुझे क्या लगता है guys कि you're clipping his wings. Nuno Mendes in that role, if you're preventing him to fly, the thing that he does the best, you're actually depriving crosses into the box because Pedro Neto and Nuno Mendes are confused that who'll receive the ball, who'll make the run, and who'll stay in deep. That is a cause of a problem, Akash. And how important, I know Joao Felix is there, has been there in Chelsea, Barcelona, has had stints all over the world. Now he's in Saudi playing with Cristiano in Al Nasser. How important of him tonight, especially against Uzbekistan, trying to exploit that defensive gaps, and will him unlock Ronaldo?
To be very honest, man, Uzbekistan is should not be a very difficult team to unlock, honestly. And if not today, then when? For Portugal to actually start scoring. I do not expect Portugal to like finish the game at least without 4 goals, whether that comes from Ronaldo or whether that comes from any of the other players. Now, what I want to see in today's is Bruno also starting?
Yeah, Bruno is
I
starting
would
number 10.
expect. Yes.
So for
Yes.
the lineup, I'll just bring you. I have the lineup with me on screen. So Diego Costa starts in goal. Nuno Mendes, Renato Veiga, Ruben Dias, and Joao Cancelo make the back four. Vitinha and Joao Neves expected central midfield pairing. Joao Felix is replacing Pedro Neto, who starts on the right wing. Bruno Fernandes, number 10, and the mighty man Cristiano Ronaldo up top. Now for Uzbekistan. Now, chat, I'm going to have a tough time because their names are passwords. And very similar passwords. So Nematov on goal, Ashurmatov, Abdullayev, Kushanov in defense, and it's a 3-4-3 where Nasrullayev, Shukrov, Kamarbeck, and Karimov in midfield. Faizullayev and Ganiev in the number 10s, or the two attackers behind the striker of Shomodra. When you are rightfully saying that the Uzbek team is not much difficult to deal with, but Kushanov against Joao Felix, because Kushanov is playing on the right-hand side of defense. We've seen him play right back for Man City this term. That battle is what excites me, Akash.
What is interesting, like, मेरे को क्या लगता है going into this game is the fact that this World Cup has already set a precedent for the so-called minnows not considering themselves as the Davids against the Goliaths in this particular edition. We have seen so many instances at this point right now. And taking that into consideration, Uzbekistan do not look like a team which has the mentality to go into the game considering themselves as the underdogs, even if the opponent has Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva coming off the bench, Joao Felix, Cristiano Ronaldo, the possibly the best midfield pivot in the world right now, and like just a bunch full of superstars, which is very interesting considering this is going to be one yet another example of a team full of superstars, which Portugal is, who still needs to find their chemistry and their footing against a team that knows the limitations, which would call them to band together and just go against them. Once more, this is going to be a game where I expect Uzbekistan to sit back and do put a low block, which would mean that Bruno and Joao Felix should be the primary creative outlets. I am not being very hopeful on Pedro Neto, even if he gave the only assist for Portugal in their first game. But let's be honest, it's going to come down to Bruno and Joao Felix opening up the defense. The funny thing is, मेरे को जो लगता है कि I haven't seen Joao Felix that much in the last couple of years, but I am guessing that he's still the player of the same cloth that he was back in when he was in Chelsea or when he was in Atletico. He was a free roam player. He was a creative player. He did not stick to his position. This is something which is very similar to that of Bruno. और यही problem हुआ था first match में Bernardo और Bruno के बीच में, where both of them were confused as according to what they were supposed to do. दोनों सेम स्टाइल में खेल रहे हैं, नो, एंड दे वर नॉट कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग ईच अदर.
Right.
I am scared that could happen in this game also, but I think considering easier opponent है Uzbekistan, at least I expect Portugal to score at least 2-3,
Hmm.
but it's going to be tough because if Uzbekistan starts to figure out how Portugal is operating, they will sit back and hit back on the counter, and that could cost Portugal. But Ruben Diaz वापस आ गया है, तो
Does that make you hopeful? Like Ruben Diaz, seasoned Man City player, he's been playing in a Pep side, but he's always has that one error in him, doesn't he?
कौन सा error?
He's always dragged out of position because he's aggressive. He's good. I'm not saying Ruben Diaz is bad. He's not a Victor Lindelof. Like they come from the same academy in Benfica. He's not a Victor Lindelof, but he always he tries to win the ball so much. Like we saw, for instance, that Kalidou Koulibaly mistake when France were playing. What is that team's name? I forgot. What
Senegal, no?
Yeah, Senegal. So, I am so bogged with work. I am forgetting African team names. Please.
Just remember Cabo Verde. That's all you need to remember this World Cup.
Here to smile, and we are definitely here to smile about Cabo Verde. But yeah, I was saying that Koulibaly, if you remember that Mbappe goal, right, and especially two of the goals that Bradley Barcola scored and Mbappe scored, the first one where there was a diagonal run coming in from that left half space where Kylian is at his best, where Bradley Barcola also made that run. First ball, Olise gets and there's a through. Second, exactly the same thing. Adrien Rabiot puts Bradley Barcola in. And if you've seen the the pre-match, like how do I frame it? It's not friendlies, but the warm-up games for the World Cup. Inacio was playing there, so Martínez clearly decided Renato Veiga is not a defender who would be there. Nuno Mendes tonight will go up. वो भागेगा. आज वो मतलब रॉकेट लगा के भागेगा because he has all the space in the world. Vitinha, if you expect him to play in that midfield position, Vitinha will vacate that space. Now Renato Veiga is a defensive midfielder, and if we expect Portugal to dominate possession, which they would do, he'll move up. Now suddenly you're on a counter, and there's Joao Cancelo who's already in the box scoring bicycle kicks. So your Ruben Diaz is the only defender that you have, and that again, he's not a William Carvalho. You do not expect composure from him, do you? So मेरा कहने का मतलब वही था. Are we too reliant? And again,
I think that is what I was saying. कि Uzbekistan यही देखेगा. Uzbekistan देखेगा कि how Portugal is operating, and they will try to counter them. I mean, Uzbekistan is not coming into the game hoping for a draw, right? Or even a loss. Nobody comes into the World Cup match to lose or to draw.
Unless
They are
you're
going to
Turkey.
go for the win. So Uzbekistan is going to sit back, and they might make good use of these loopholes or the gaps in the current Portugal team. But I don't see that being exploited very much. Firstly, क्योंकि Uzbekistan इतना technical team है भी नहीं. They don't have players of Bradley Barcola or Mbappe's technical expertise. I don't know about their pace, whether they're extremely pacey or not. If they are not, it doesn't take for the top fullbacks to actually track back and get back in position to give cover to the lone defender who is standing in the back line. So I don't see Ruben Diaz getting caught out too much, or Vitinha, as you mentioned, Renato Veiga, even if he goes forward, he will fall back when the team is falling back, when there is a counter. Vitinha create करता है, लेकिन पूरा उतना आगे भी नहीं जाता है. So he will also keep coming back. He will also fall deep if he sees that Uzbekistan is like फर्स्ट अटैक करेगा गोल मार देगा, that can happen, but that will not happen every single time, right? Even if Uzbekistan does a counter, even if this are able to score one goal, Portugal will figure that out and they will mend the tactic likewise.
Can
So,
they? Can they with a Martinez though? Can they, chat?
so I don't think, even if Ruben Diaz is caught out of place, he's going to get caught out of place once, not too many times, and I don't see that going against Portugal, at least in this World Cup. But I am once again placing my bets on Portugal being the bigger team, but I cannot count out Uzbekistan considering how the smaller teams, the so called smaller teams, have performed in this World Cup.
And like, okay, so Rick Bakshi, I think this is Shubayon. He says big fan, us too as well, sir. So yeah, and what I was like, I actually watched that game for Portugal in their pre-World Cup warm-up, and it was against Ghana possibly, where they struggle against like Portuguese. The entire team pushes up, and there's a problem when they concede attack through their wings. So and I was just analyzing, I was just watching a few clippings before I started like preparing for the podcast, is that Uzbekistan love actually attacking through the wings, and their manager is Fabio Cannavaro, if people do not know yet. And Cannavaro, I think we have all seen at Real Madrid, he is one of the smallest defenders to play world football and probably to win the Ballon d'Or. So he knows the game to be dominated by tall physical strikers, and he knows the way to find out loopholes. And that probably is Uzbekistan's probably gameplay tonight, where you would see a lot of balls. They, like Akash is right. You are right, Akash, that they will defend deep. They will put their entire savings, FDs जो भी है उसका सब बंधक रख के वो डिफेंस पे बैठ जाएंगे. If they are parking the JCB to, like, not even the bus, they are parking the bloody JCB, and they will try to break on counters because Portuguese team have both fullbacks who love to attack and do not love to defend. Like Cancelo, we know how he's not a physically good fit foot. Like, he's not a Reece James, right? Nuno Mensch, he's good, but he was still unfit coming into the World Cup. We are still yet to see, and he was still hobbling in the last match, and he was taken off. Is he fit enough? Because Shomodarov, I think he's the focal point of the attack. He will hold up play. And especially, I was talking with you the other day, the last time, because we had so much discussion about Bruno. But there are two number 10s that Portugal defense has to contend with this time, right? And if the striker is holding up the play, you do not expect a Vitinha or a Joao Neves to be that like immaculate ball winner, right? The PSG, they play well for PSG, but PSG has Fabian Ruiz. They have Pacho in defense, who actually covers that space. And who is that ball winner in that Portuguese team? Like, they suffered in the last match because there is no ball winner. Most of their possession winnings were opposition errors. Tonight, I think it's of the same ratio, like Congo and Uzbekistan, probably similar. Uzbekistan slightly better, but they will play a team game. They will draw. They'll put their hat and say, "Bhai, aaj main khelunga. Tu tod ke dikha defense." But when they will break, tell me, Akash, who is like, कौन जीतेगा ball?
That is
Bruno.
what I was thinking also. As you were saying this, मैं वही सोच रहा था कि if you ask me for a score forecast for this game, a score prediction for this game, I would say either it is going to be Portugal winning this by 4 goals to nil, or this is going to be Uzbekistan taking the game home by a single goal to nil. Because I feel Aj Uzbekistan is going to approach the game in a very similar fashion to how Iran approached against Belgium.
Right.
Very solid defense. मतलब मेरे को लगा था Iran's defense against Belgium was even better than that of Cabo Verde versus Spain. क्योंकि Iran's defense was very organized. They were solid through and through. मतलब Spain was toothless. Belgium was not. Belgium was making headway. They were making serious threats. And Iran never looked uncomfortable. They were so calm, so composed. The only issue why Iran match nikal kyun nahi paya, because they were toothless in attack. They were not countering. They were just happy sitting back and just defending to the best of their lives. They were okay with the point. Uzbekistan, as you were mentioning, they are an offense. When they are going on the counter, they are going in for the kill. They attack through the wings. They have a striker who is holding up the play up front for the wingers to overload. So Uzbekistan is going to try and strike, and they are going to get that one goal if they are able to get that, considering they can count, like they can take advantage of the culpability that Portugal's defense has, as you mentioned. They're going to take that one goal and they're going to just park the bus after that. And I think that's fair strategy for a team like Uzbekistan to get 3 full points.
Mm-hmm.
अब इशू यही है कि एज यू मेंशनड कि रूबेन डियाज एक डिफेंडर है who goes in for challenges, who goes after the
The
players, which pulls
aggressiveness,
him
yeah.
out of position. हाँ. So this is something that he would also, he's also a very experienced player, intelligent player है वो. So he knows how to make fouls without getting a yellow card, without getting booked. तो उसके संग विटीनिया है. विटीनिया, while not the best ball winner, can like वो zonal defending, not man marking, zonal defending करके उज्बेकिस्तान को they can like suffocate Uzbekistan out of the ball. And I see that happening because the team, despite what Roberto Martinez feels, this is a team with players who play with their brains, except the man up front. No disrespect.
No, like Akash, come on, you just cannot say that. Like we have our United fans. I know, like we loved Cristiano. There's no two ways about it. We loved Cristiano as a personality. We like Cristiano has got me through one of the darkest times in my life till now because of his never give up attitude. But
Yes.
like I was a fanboy. Everybody in this world, divided sides, are fanboys because we are biased human beings full of emotions. But what he did for Manchester United, like Ten Hag's issues aside, I did not expect him.
Just one second.
Ten Hag's issues aside, I think that you cannot just go out midway of a match disrespecting Manchester United. So that is where I lost a bit of respect. But that does not take away the credibility and the honors that the man has. And at 41, like Bhav was telling the other day that he's playing a race, he's on a race against time itself. And that actually, and nobody wins. And honestly, if you tell me, right, if he is not there, whom? So you play Gonzalo Ramos, come on. Seriously, there are shouts that Bruno can play in a false nine, but it takes away the creativity. But if not whom, then who?
Honestly, बताओ मैं what I was just having this exact conversation yesterday night right after Messi scored the 2 goals कि एक तो रोनाल्डो के अगेंस्ट कॉन्स्पिरेसी चल रहा है. Right before he plays, FIFA has scheduled Messi, Mbappe and Haaland to play और रोनाल्डो के बाद हैरी केन को डाल दिया मैच में. तो सब 4-4 5-5 गोल मारा. रोनाल्डो is not getting 4-4 5-5 touches on the ball in a match. तो वो तो like FIFA has conspired against Ronaldo. But jokes apart, what I feel is Ronaldo. I was just having this conversation where I was saying that I feel sad for the guy more than anything else. This is a man whose very defining trait was his ego that took him to the height where he is today. And that very thing, what made him a great, is also causing his downfall because he is unable to accept his reality. But does that take anything away from him? Like people are saying कि Ronaldo, मतलब अभी अगर if you speak in hindsight कि Ronaldo, why is he sullying his legacy by performing in this way? He knows his limitations. Why is he still continuing to play? But that is what Ronaldo is, right? Somebody might say कि वो Euro जीतने के बाद he could have retired, but in hindsight, one can make claims like this. But this man does not know how to stop. And it's this very thing that has driven him to where he is today. And
Agreed.
I honestly, if Ronaldo अगर इस World Cup कुछ किया नहीं भी किया ना, even if he doesn't win anything, even if he doesn't score a goal, I take nothing away from him. He
Nobody
has
can.
given
Nobody can.
everything to the sport, and that's just like, at this point I give him credit for just fighting the fight, even if he knows that he doesn't have the fight in him anymore. That's just the, as you mentioned, the never die spirit that has inspired billions over generations. And आज आज भी रोनाल्डो अगर गोल नहीं मारा, पोर्टुगल ग्रुप स्टेज में एलिमिनेट हो गया, तो या देयर विल बी मीम्स, देयर विल बी जोक्स अराउंड रोनाल्डो, वो तो होता ही है. But at the end of the day, when the dust settles, even if people say that the rivalry did not end the poetic way it could have, where they started as equals, they end as equals, maybe not. But does that take anything away from him? I don't think so.
Lot of like deep thoughts there. So do like chat if you want to listen to more about psychology and more about how Mentor Akash speaks very well in his channel. Do subscribe to Here to Smile. The link, his channel is linked in the description. So he's trying to build a community. So we'll talk about the mental health aspect of it. I've saved it up for the later half of the video because I think my topics would rile into that. But do show him some support. And I think in a world where we are all struggling, these things need to be talked about. As you brilliantly put, that it does not, nothing could take away his legacy. Even if so there are always winners in rivalries, right? But honestly, it does not matter to me if he ends up with 2 less World Cups, 2,000 less goals, or whatever, whoever, either side. It's the rivalry that is history. It's
Yes.
not who.
And I mean, एक एंड में जाके कभी कभी ऐसा भी लगता है कि it's the there is a line in Bengali, right? You must have heard this song where there's this one line called "Shop Pele Nosto Jibon," which is like, if you win everything, then you are no longer human. You are that demigod thing which is out of, beyond the touch of us everyday people. And it's failure that makes humans heroes, and that's
Right.
what Ronaldo has always been.
Claps. Always. And talking about heroes and underdogs, I'll just quickly rush over with Uzbekistan, right? Because I do not want this to be focused on whether or not Portugal can do this. And because Uzbekistan is a country from Asia, and we are biased from countries from Asia, especially Japan. I have been raving about Japan all along. And like if I talk about Uzbekistan under Cannavaro,
एक बात होता, सॉरी
Yeah.
जापान का जो गोल कैंसिल हुआ था, वो गोल था कि नहीं था?
I'll ask the chat. What do you think? Do leave your thoughts in the comments if you think that Japan goal deserved to be shown up. Because I actually watched the highlights. I'm very honest. My job will fire me.
Same.
I watched the highlights. And I missed out on that. But I did hear controversies out of that. But Japan were fantastic. But Japan is for another day. I love talking about Japan. The anime. I watched a brilliant anime yesterday as well. But I'll stick to Uzbekistan, the other half of Asia. And if you talk about Fabio Cannavaro, Uzbekistan defend in a compact 5-4-1, and they attack directly to their number 9 Shomodorov and rely on Fazulaev's creativity. And they are dangerous. They can hurt opponents through the wing. So like they stretch. So 3-4-3 Ruben Amorim. I talk about whenever some team plays 3-4-3. I talk about Ruben Amorim because of his sporting exploits, because he laid it down to perfection. Attacking wing back, defensive wing back, and attacking, basically playing a winger as a right wing back, as an inverted winger as a right wing back. But on the same poise right now, they will try to stretch the Portuguese team, and that is where my initial concern is. Nuno Mendes stretched, Joao Cancelo stretched. Then Renato Veiga dragged out of midfield, and there's Ruben Dias. Suddenly you're just cramped up for space, and that is where Portugal actually struggle. If you remember the goal they conceded, it's similar error. It's not something of a brilliant play. Portugal will play well, but they will just concede that half chance that you do not expect them to concede, and they will concede. And honestly, I have to give credit here to Martínez, Roberto Martínez, because it takes special talent to not just fuck up a golden generation of Belgium, but also the best Portuguese side on paper to have ever existed. Akash, my
man.
question. It's not a question. It's a plea, brother. Like if Portugal do not manage with this squad to actually put 4 or 5 past Uzbekistan, is that a win for Uzbekistan? Like in all sense. Come on, I'll rephrase the question. It if Uzbekistan make it a 1-1 draw,
Yeah.
they do not have much hopes for qualifying on the second round. But would that still be a step forward for them, considering you said that nobody comes to make like play out a draw, right? And
Yes.
like while you answer that, I'll just open up the fixtures. So do you think that this would be a win for them and Asia as a whole?
Uh two things. Just let me know one thing. First match का score क्या हुआ था उज्बेकिस्तान का? They drew the first game also, right?
Yes, yes.
किसी के साथ तो?
So the next match is against
हाँ ना?
Congo that they have. So, no, so first game they lost 3-1 to Colombia. So it's do or die.
अच्छा हाँ
It's
हाँ हाँ हाँ.
sorry, it's bloody do or die for them as well, because next match is against
That's a
Congo.
that's a bit of a surprise considering वो Colombia था. But Colombia is a very well drilled team. Colombia बहुत बढ़िया खेलता है football and they are very aggressive and
James.
you have that Latin American flair, that Latin American flavor in their football जो Brazil Argentina में तो है नहीं. Argentina लेके कल मैं एक tweet देखा था where they said that the current Argentina team is basically an experiment of Messi and Atletico Madrid playing together.
Mhm.
इतना गंदा खेला था अर्जेंटीना. But yeah, coming back to Uzbekistan, what I was expecting is I मैं तो भूल गया था कि they had lost, but going into this game, I was just thinking कि एक तो Cannavaro is their coach, right? Cannavaro is a Ballon d'Or winning, World Cup winning defender, center back, who has potentially one of the best young center back prospects in the world to groom and develop into a leader, who has also had the opportunity to play alongside Ruben Diaz. So Bernardo Silva bhi hai. So Kushanov already knows how these players perform. Kushanov already plays at the topmost level. If Kushanov can marshal the defense, if Kushanov can organize, and if Cannavaro has taken pointers from the first defeat and has taught the boys to approach this game in a different manner, I think if Uzbekistan, while I did mention Portugal might score 4 goals, they might not also. If Uzbekistan is disciplined in their defense. And
And they
if they
actually
are,
are, and they actually are. Their highlight of their play is because is Cannavaro's Gharana. We have Cruyff Gharana, we have Cannavaro Gharana, where Italy, they actually focus a lot on their shape. Like Catenaccio, we've seen Catenaccio. Very shape focus. It's not, as you said, Portugal would be zonal. I think like Uzbekistan would be zonal because they shift with they're very like, we talk about verticality, but the horizontal shifting that the team does. So like most of you would not catch it because in like televised matches, it's often shown from a entertainment angle camera. But as much as I've spent time analyzing footage, if you watch the match as a whole, you'll see us, especially Italian defenders, a sea, it's like waves. Each and every one, each and every line through that verticality that they have, they shift horizontally to mask out space. And actually, and I think Trek Whispers actually it's been touching up on that on the chat. Says I've been following Uzbekistan since the good part of the last decade after Japan. If there is any Asian country who has made significant stride in football development, it is Uzbekistan hands down. And he's correct on it. Because other than Kushana, there are a lot of players that I don't know. I've not been following football in the depths as Trek Whispers has been following, but I do know that they will create a problem. They definitely create a problem for Portugal to break down through. And there's
exactly.
set pieces that they have physicality. Other than Cristiano Ronaldo, I do not see anyone on that team. Joao Neves did it the last time, you might argue. I give you that. But Joao Neves will not win headers against a Shomurodov in defense. It's just Ruben Diaz.
Yeah.
And Ruben Diaz is not 6'5".
Yes. So I think वही फंडा है कि however way this game goes, this is going to be looking positive for Asian football in general. and Uzbekistan in particular. क्योंकि एक तो firstly उज्बेकिस्तान अगर 4 गोल नहीं खाया, if Portugal is unable to score like three, four against Uzbekistan, that in there is proof of progress in Asian football. Uzbekistan is not easy to break down. I mean, Uzbekistan छोड़ दो भाई. You have seen Iran, for example.
Yes.
Japan is there already. Japan has scored 4 in return. Iran was unbreakable. Uzbekistan, I today expect them to play in the same vein, which it's itself proof testament to the fact that they have improved. अगर वो नहीं हुआ, if they concede 4 goals, 3 goals, I think Uzbekistan is going to be extremely disappointed with the performance, which also speaks to the progress because they are not going to be. क्या होता था पहले? Even if a underdog approached a game like this, they would have gone with the mentality कि हम तो
Right.
हारने वाले हैं, हम तो 5 गोल खाने वाले हैं, and they would have been okay with it. I don't think Uzbekistan is going to be okay with a 4-0 thumping. And that speaks about the mentality shift of Asian football. Ki we are no longer the underdogs. We are improving. We be toe to toe with the top guns of Europe and America. And either way it goes, अगर उज्बेकिस्तान जीत गया तो well, that shows a decadence in European football instead of an improvement in Asian football. But apart from that, I see all positives, however the match goes for Uzbekistan and Asian
And
football.
while you were talking about that, so I pulled up stats as a comparison for like not the World Cup. Let me go back to the Premier League 25-26. Yeah. So I have I have with me. So I'll show this in the shorts if needed. So it's a state comparison between Kushanov and Ruben Diaz, and I see in their I'll see 2 stats. So one is their passing, because a lot of players like these two are ball playing center backs, and they're defending. So Kushanov, their long ball percentage, and Ruben Diaz is exactly the same. And when it comes to defending, miles ahead, Kushanov is the better interceptor. Like he's been playing right back, so even having higher interception stats than Ruben Diaz per game. So it's Kushanov has 1.6 interceptions per game to comparison to 0.9 interceptions for a Ruben Diaz. Tackles is 1.3 and tackles for Ruben Diaz is 0.5. So what that worries me, right? So इसका interceptions भी कम है, इसका tackles भी कम है. They have not been dribble past much. But what Ruben Diaz does is have double the clearances for against its 4.5 clearances per game against 2.7 clearances. And if I talk about aerial duels, Ruben Diaz has actually won a lot of aerial duels, but I'll limit that. I'll give him that. I'll give Kushanov that bandwidth because he plays right back mostly, and he'll not be facing that many aerial duels. Fouls, very both of them have not played. I don't remember Ruben Diaz. Do you remember Ruben? It was all Mark Gehi, right? When he came back, Ruben Diaz bits and pieces.
Yes. और Ruben Diaz का injury वगैरह भी था ना last season काफी, तो he was plagued with a few injuries as well. तो matches miss भी किया था, तो he was not at his best shape, best form, which could be a concern in this World Cup as well. But metrics, as you were mentioning, yeah, this speaks in favor of Kushanov, and let's see क्या करता है. I am hopeful that he will be able to replicate that. I don't honestly think he's a better defender than Ruben Diaz yet, but he has the potential, which makes him. He has the mental ability to develop. Abhi bhi he is not the Ruben Diaz standard defender, but since he has the capability to reach there, he can perform. Like उसमें वो big game mentality है. He has that baller, उसमें है वो. So I see that working in his favor. What I want to see आज के match में is Diogo Dalot. Will he get a run in?
Why? Why
not?
Why trauma? Again, I've been fresh off of a season where United finished third and Diego Dallo is भाई वो relegation हो जाए तो I would not be surprised. But seriously, Bhao was also talking about Diego Dallo. What do you see in Diego Dallo? मेरे को भी बता.
Uh, Honestly, if you take away his finishing, right, he's not that bad of a player. Like, you have heard me abuse the hell out of Diego Dalot, right? I dislike that man with a hot, flaming anger in my chest. But if I take all of that out, if I am looking at him as very objectively, why do I hate him? उस पे आता है, व्हाई डू आई हेट हिम इज बिकॉज वो बॉल कैरी करके पूरा आगे लेके जाता है, फिनिश करने जाता है जो उसमें है नहीं. ही इज नॉट अ स्कोरर, ही इज अ वेरी बैड शॉट टेकर एंड ही कंटिन्यूज टू डू दैट. If you take that away, everything he does right up until that point is good. It's not great, it's not
It's
Philip
decent.
Lam,
Decent.
but it's not bad. It's not bad. You would like to have him in your team to do what he does. And for example, in games like these, जिसमें मान लो around 60-65 minute mark, 70 minute mark, players are getting tired out. Joe Cancelo might be a little fatigued. वहां पे Uzbekistan is going to try and counter and hit even more. Even if they are gonna be having a 1-0 lead, वो तब जाके 2-0, 3-0 करने का कोशिश करेगा. In these moments, do you need fresher legs in defense, especially when your defense is known to be culpable? तो
Now,
वहां पे Diego Dalot can play a big role.
I honestly think like you and I agree wholeheartedly with the criticism for Diego Dallo, but he has also been the player of the season for Manchester United in Ten Hag's first season. Like you cannot like and we won trophies in that season, and we know what he cannot do. But I always had this argument with my friends that Scott McTominay, we are seeing how brilliant he is throughout the last two seasons. But I often compared, like people laughed at me when I said Scott McTominay is a better footballer than Jordan Henderson. If you put like what matters is like in terms like Jordan Henderson is a brilliant leader, no
Why
doubts
is that a
about
hot take again?
it.
That's
It's not a hot take. What I'm trying to say, Akash, is that dekho, if the entirety of the like Diego Dallo is not the best. It's not Wan Bissaka, right? And he's not a Maicon or a Cafu. We know that he's an average footballer, but so was Jordan Henderson. But what made him look world class in those few seasons was the world class team around him, the poise and the vigor and the valor that they play with. Teams fear you. Like Fergie's team. Was Gary Neville a better footballer than Diego Dallo? I do not believe it. Gary Neville would not find a side in
that's a hot
championship.
take.
Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, both like pundits at this point, would not have had a career in this modern day football. And Diego Dallo can score. We have seen long range curlers from him. He can assist. The Garnacho bicycle kick, thank God, is gone. But he can assist. And he had an assist in the last match, and he almost scored that and broke Bruno's 21 goal record, 21 Premier League assists, but hit the bar. And you often associate him with being him with the weakest link. But I do expect if United and Portugal, if their midfield is solid and their defense is solid, the fullbacks will find space, the fullbacks will deliver and do not have to always look behind. Bhai, mere piche kya hai? Is there space in behind me? Is the if I have gone forward, has the midfielder dropped back or has the centre back shuffled across? वो United पे नहीं होता है because both of Harry Maguire and Casemiro exact वही position and they're slow. That is why probably a Noose Mazraoui, even Noose Mazraoui struggles because we are targeted on that position. But two good things I would say about him is he is someone very much respected in that dressing room. Off the field, there are no scandals. And he is someone who increases the morale of a team. If he was better ability-wise, we'd be shouting him for the captaincy armband. So I hope he plays better. He's a Unite. I do not want to hate watch on anyone. But for now, let us keep Diego Dallo to where Diego Dallo.
What I think about what a player like Diego Dalot would provide in a game like this against Uzbekistan, right? Ki Dalot to first of all start nahi karega, which is a given. Secondly, whenever Portugal is on the back foot, when they're defending, you mentioned Wan Bissaka, right? Wan Bissaka Dalot में difference क्या था? Wan Bissaka went into challenges. Wan Bissaka made flashy tackles. एकदम last minute challenge मार के ball निकाल रहा है, ये कर रहा है, वो कर रहा है, interception कर रहा है. डालोट वो सब नहीं करता है, डालोट वो सब कर नहीं पाता है.
करता क्या है वो आदमी
बट
भाई?
दैट इज द थिंग ना कि देखो, डालोट को इफ यू ड्रिबल पास डालोट वंस एंड यू पुट अ बॉल इन, इट्स ओके. बट if you are unable to dribble past Dalot as a winger who is not the most elite in mentality
You
and
should
who
stop playing
does
football.
नहीं, वही वही बात है कि अगर डालोट को, इफ यू आर टेकिंग ऑन डालोट विथ somebody who knows that he is limited, वो कोई राफेल लियाओ या मार्कस रैशफोर्ड है नहीं, तो
Who needs to know they're limited? Football.
so if you are unable to dribble past Dalot, this would actually force him to pass back. This would actually force him to recycle the ball.
The only thing he's good at.
तो
I'm sorry.
इसी में डालोट, so this is where Dalot's credit comes into the picture, where he forces the opponent to recycle the ball so that the ball is not going in, which allows the defense to remarshal itself. So हम बहुत we focus on what the players are doing on the ball, what they're doing off the
Off the
ball
ball.
to support the team is just as important.
And talking about that, so a hot take here from Trek Whisper says that Uzbekistan has won the under 25, under 17 Asian Cup, 2023 under 20 Asian Cup, under 23 Asian Cup runners up 2022, 2024, and semi-finalists in 2026. I can say it with conviction that they are ready for the world. That's some impressive stats. And we know that, Akash, and we both know that this is going to be, we both know that Uzbekistan are going to sit deep with that 5-man and 4-man insurance. They're going to park the JCB. But we'll hope that, like, we want an exciting match. I want Bruno to have a very good game. I want Ronaldo to silence his doubters, because I am done choosing sides for now, because let's just enjoy honestly, whatever the news is, we'll enjoy this. I want to enjoy both of the goats in their peaks, like for one last time, while one of them is doing it like the way he never did it, and the other one is also doing it not in the way that he always did it. And that is where the difference lies. And I hope it is a start for Portugal this World Cup. And I'll talk before, I think, 15 minutes to kick off, and I'll talk about how mental strength is important here, is because, like Messi, right? So we've spoken about how you've wonderfully summed up how his Cristiano's ego has taken him to where he is. Even Messi had an ego. So everybody in top players, top athletes has an ego, a drive. Some decide to show it, some do not. Some have FIFA working for their favor, some do not. But honestly, like, we saw how the Argentinians had actually wanted to win the World Cup for Messi. While there's a sentiment for Diego Jota this term as well, there's also a sentiment for, this is Ronaldo's last World Cup. We want to win it for him. That's the public notice that we've got. And Ronaldo, as you said, he out of all of us speaking about him, criticizing him, this, that, he is still doing it. He does not need to do it. He'll still be one of the greatest in world football if he retires today after starting the match. He'll still be one of the greatest to ever kick the ball. Better than R9, better than Maradona, better than, like, I'll say him better than Maradona for the longevity that he has. And it's not very recent that he scored 17 goals in the Premier League for Manchester United. Let's not forget that. But I'm sure this affects him as well, knowing that, because someone is always looked at the mirror, right? And if he see, what does he see when he look into the mirror? That he is not the 25-year-old, 23-year-old Ballon d'Or winning, entertaining Cristiano anymore. He out of everyone, he realizes that he's not the main man in the team anymore. It's maybe Bruno Fernandes, maybe Vitinha. Is his poise and ego telling him that, okay, I need to score a hat trick to bring my spotlight? Because let's face it, he thrives under spotlight, right? He thrives under all the media attention. Is he trying to do everything possible? And would that work in his favor, considering this aspect? that his body does not allow it, but his mind is still Cristiano 20 years ago. How does this play a part?
Uh, Honestly, I was actually looking at एक तो मैं पोर्टुगल का प्री मैच प्री टूर्नामेंट फ्रेंडली देख रहा था and also Ronaldo in the first game against Congo. I was actually looking at his body language, and what I saw was a man whose confidence was shot.
He looked nervous.
And
Exactly, he looked nervous.
yes,
You
so
never see
this is a
Cristiano
man.
nervous.
Yes, this is a man whose ego is bigger than himself. Was his entire persona, who is currently looking at the mirror and is suffering from self doubt. And that is a bigger hole you have dug yourself into than denial, which is why I don't think he's looking for a hat trick here, man. I think he's just looking for one goal, if possible.
Yeah,
That is all he needs, just to tell the world that I am not as over as you think I
I
am.
still exist. Correct.
I still exist. That this is a question of survival rather than showing that I am still the greatest. It's not anymore. He is not fighting with Messi anymore. He's just trying to hold on to that last semblance of I once existed.
In all
People, I hope
actuality,
people don't forget.
in all actuality, I think he's fighting with himself. The shadow of his
Yeah.
former self, of great nights that he had had, and the great joy and the smiles that he had put on all of our faces, regardless of our personal biases. He's fighting a battle with time and against himself. But I do feel that whenever I think, I'll bring on the Lewis Hamilton reference here, where he was told when he was having crap season that remember who you are. Bhav told it last night. I did it on the poster. And sometimes both you and I have had tough times over our retrospective careers, and it always, like, there are times when you wanted to give up. We are not Cristiano Ronaldo's. If we gave up right now, we are finished. Cristiano will still make millions and millions and millions of dollars through just his YouTube, let alone his sponsorship deals, Nike, the world is infinite for him. But not giving up is what he has taught us, and remembering who we are, especially at our lowest. I do hope, for the man's sake, he remembers who he is, and he lets the world remember. He's overcomplicating things. He just needs to do what he does best, is just stand there on the pitch, wreak havoc, and inspire his team. He does not need to be the goal scorer. He just can. Portugal can play with 10 men and still win this game, and Ronaldo can be the central point without even scoring a goal, because he needs to remind the world he's not a meme. He is Cristiano.
I just want Ronaldo in his last. If I take this World Cup as his last bow, I just want him to look at this whole tournament as not somewhere where he needs to make his mark, he needs to leave something behind for the people. Forget all that. I just want Ronaldo to remember that 17-year-old Sporting Lisbon boy who was in love with the game, and be that 17-year-old Ronaldo again. Maybe he doesn't have the legs for it anymore. Maybe his body doesn't permit him. But rediscovering that part within yourself which made you fall in love with the sport in the first place often breaks more mental blocks than anything else.
Like, the rivalry is what made us fall in love with the sport, because our generation, we have been spoiled with greatness at our fingertips. And Czech Whispers also said, being a fan of Messi, I wholeheartedly want Ronaldo to give his best. Yeah, that's the point of everything. Without a Roger Federer, a Rafael Nadal does not exist.
Nadal. Yeah.
Without a Lewis Hamilton, a Max Verstappen does not exist. And without a Cristiano, like, we've seen Pele's time, undisputed GOAT. Maradona's time, undisputed GOAT. Cruyff, undisputed GOAT. But this generation, I feel if these two did not coexist in this generation, if the stars did not align, they would not have been the greatest of all time, if that makes sense. Because Messi all-time top scorer. Ronaldo close to 1,000 official goals, as he liked to claim it. Multiple Ballon d'Or winners, more than any other player. Any other player. I fail to remember any Ballon d'Or like other than Messi and Ronaldo. Do you recall someone who has won it twice? I don't.
In the last कितना सालों में?
When it was like all like it's not just not European players, it was everyone since let's say since 1990s. I don't remember.
नहीं बहुत सारे लोग जीते हैं यार.
Twice.
हाँ. Van Basten won it thrice. Platini won it thrice.
So that was only at that point. I do not think like Argentinian players, like American or African players.
Okay. Since 1995, you were saying. हाँ नहीं तो फिर तो nobody.
Yeah.
I think only Ronaldo Lima might have won it twice, if I remember correctly. But that's just it. But Ronaldo Lima was Ronaldo Lima. So yeah.
Offside, RJ says, if in this World Cup, it's all about Messi versus Mbappe. I'll not bring out Haaland because they might be one of the dark horses that nobody is noticing. I'll do the France versus Iran, France versus Norway match. Haaland, Mbappe, next generation, left foot, right foot. So we'll have that as well. But
Trek Whisper says, without East Bengal, there is no Mohan Bagan. Without 80K also, there is no Mohan Bagan, my friend.
I have a bloody scarf. At least show some respect, man. You are getting abused. I am not. I will hold off on that debate. Because I do not want to get in a slander battle between East Bengal Mohun Bagan fans in a World Cup stream. Like it's like I have learned my lesson over Luke Shaw. I have learned my lesson saying Luke Shaw is one of the best left backs in the world. Let's not get back into those days. It's for one of those times. 5 minutes off to kick off. Akash, thank you so much for joining us. Last predictions.
Thank you for having me.
Always pleasure, brother. Last predictions. I think it would be a 3-0 or a 3-1 win for Portugal. Akash, do you think different?
I see Portugal either winning this 3-0 or losing this 1-0. No in betweens. I don't
Not
see
a draw. If it is a score draw, it is trouble for Portugal. They like I do not want Portugal to qualify as third place. Like last match is against Colombia, probably the most difficult match. I do not think.
अगर पोर्टुगल कॉन्गो को गोल हरा नहीं पा रहा है, उज्बेकिस्तान को हरा नहीं पा रहा है, कोलंबिया इज गोइंग टू लाइक ऐसे गला दबा के पकड़ेगा पोर्टुगल को फर्स्ट मिनट से. Colombia is going to rip Portugal to shreds if Portugal does not win tonight.
Yeah, Luis Diaz, Luis Suarez, the Sporting one, not the Uruguayan one. James rolling back the years. We'll have to wait and see Colombia play as well later tonight. Akash, thank you so much for joining us, and it's been a pleasure. I hope do subscribe to his channel. He's been trying to build a community where he speaks about mental health, and then again he's also spoke about Dallo, which is further trauma. I hope you have a great one, man. I hope you have a great one.
Trauma नहीं दूंगा तो mental health treat कैसे करूंगा?
Like man knows his market. Man knows his market. I'll have to give it up for him. But it's been a pleasure having you. Hope to have you.
Thank you, man.
Far more sitting beside me.
Always.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yes. And always great conversing.
Let's hope for a good match. See you.
Yes. See you. Bye.
Bye. So that was Akash with his thoughts on the match, and I do think that Portugal is going to run out as victors. They have a lot to prove, and these players are champions, and leading them is the GOAT of champions, the GOAT of comebacks. If there's anyone in world football you'd expect, bhai, rile me up, that is Cristiano Ronaldo. He and only he, as Bhav said the other night, can win this game of football and potentially win the World Cup for Portugal if there is the progression. Do subscribe to the channel. The sub goal is 2,000 before the World Cup ends, and we are hit a bit of a stagnancy here, and I do expect you guys, भाई थोड़ा सपोर्ट तो कर दो. सैलरी आनी नहीं है, पैसा जेब खाली है, थोड़ा यहाँ तो सपोर्ट कर दो. Yeah, I said I'd not like, but yeah, थोड़ा तो करना पड़ता है जब तक कोई स्पॉन्सरशिप वगैरह आ ना जाए. I will try to get on with more matches. I have work tomorrow as well. So if you are one of my colleagues, you better be doing your work because I do not want to cover for you. And England also play tonight. We'll see Tuchel's. My prediction for that is that England would win 2-0. Harry Kane, being Harry Kane, will continue his magnanimous form. But up to the GOAT now. Let's have a good match and let's hope the World Cup continues to excite us and the battle of the GOATs to remain. With that, this is me, Neil, wishing you a very good night. See you soon and to enjoy the rest of the evening with fantastic matches up on the horizon. Bye-bye.